Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hey, friend, welcome back to the podcast. Happy Friday. Well, as they say, all good things must come to an end, and I am about to hop off of this beautiful ship that I have called home for almost 2 weeks. How dreamy is that? Someone making my food and making my bed and making my plans. It's so lovely. And although this good thing is coming to an end, it's just to make space for more good things to come. It's so fun. We've got lots of great things on the calendar. I'm also so inspired. I have so many new ideas. So lots of fun things coming your way. And as I prepare to get on yet another airplane, I wanted to remind you about the Creative in Residence program that allows you to come for a beautiful extended period of time, 2 weeks, at the Phineas Wright House. While I'm traveling, you get to be in this beautiful creative incubator and work on your projects, work on your next yes, finish that book, start that book, paint, take pictures, compose music, learn a language, whatever you want to do, file your taxes, read a book. It doesn't matter to me. Just whatever creative passion is growing in your heart that you just wish you had time and space without all of your chores to get it done. I would love to invite you to use the Phineas Wright House the way I've been using this gorgeous cruise ship for the last couple of weeks. It is so beautiful and inspiring and energizing and empowering to have this pattern interrupt while setting intentions to expand, to create something new, to be available to a new way of thinking. It's just yummy, and I want that for you as well. Okay, speaking of creative new ideas, we have an absolute first on the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. Are you ready for it? Today's guest, not a woman. I know. I am telling you, the bar is very, very high to have a guest that is not our usual fabulous queen. And when I met Max Lewis last year at a Book Thinkers event, I just thought, oh my word, I want to talk to this person more. He's, of course, like a legit business mogul and has done so many beautiful things, which he will tell us about. I'll tell you a little bit about too. But his energy and his grace and his presence when you're talking to him just make you want to spend more time in that gorgeousness that he creates. And he's just such a humble, loving, fabulous person who has experienced something so epic. And he shares it in his book, Who is Max Lewis? And it is the story of 37 life lessons that can fuel your life and business. He is an American entrepreneur and investor with over 20 years of business experience and in excess of $100 million in cumulative sales. After starting his propane exchange business in 2002, Max grew the company into the largest independent propane cylinder exchange business in the state of Florida. He sold it for an impressive $37 million in 2017, one of the largest transactions of its kind in the state. Okay, you guys, I know we don't always talk about rolling in our cash and flying our private planes and all of that, like bro hustle business stuff. But when I tell you this man has done really impressive things in business, and he didn't sell his company for $37 million that makes airplanes. Like, these are propane tanks. So you had to sell a lot of propane tanks to generate that kind of money. And I was so inspired as a person who's selling a peony stem. You're going to sell a lot of flowers to really make this sort of financial impact. And I was so inspired by his story, not just because of the numbers, but everything I told you about him before I read his bio. His energy, his grace, his presence, his love, his faith in Jesus. It's like so beautiful that I thought that he was worth the risk of talking to a boy while I have a microphone. And I really hope you enjoy this conversation with my friend, Max Lewis. Well, I want to tell you something about my podcast. It's called Say Yes to Yourself. And I highlight the stories of women that are implementing this self-care practice in big and small ways. And you are the first and only man that I have ever considered or invited to be in this conversation. And I have to just thank you for the way that you show up in the world is so beautiful. It's a magnet. And I love your humility. I love your generosity. I love your grace. I love your entrepreneurial brilliance. I love your anticipation. I feel like you're an idea factory, and I am too. So I like talking to idea factories.
Yeah.
So the reason that I wanted to have you on the show is, well, number one, I love being in your energy, and I told you that. And I know that you are also a man of faith, so I can use more specific words like the Holy Spirit in me and the Holy Spirit in you is in unison, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And I believe that as women, entrepreneurs, we we can hear some messages over and over again, and there can be some doubt, but then there are sometimes those messages come from an unexpected source, a guy,
Right.
and it lands with, I don't know, this level of certainty and this level of, like, you guys just don't freak out about the stuff we freak out about. And it's wonderful to have camaraderie when you're talking to another person who's just as freaked out about the thing that you are, but that just creates more freak out. So I would love just to hear, like, what would you say? Because I know you're doing all of this generous coaching of entrepreneurs, and you probably can't help yourself even when you're just walking around and you
Yeah.
like see someone in business and you're like, "Oh, might I offer a suggestion to you,
Everywhere,
Foster?"
everywhere. Even at lunch, the other day at brunch, I gave someone like a 20-minute coaching. It was I was like, that was awesome. I was like, what did I just do? She's like, you just stopped and started teaching these people how to run their business. It's just kind of, you just kind of kick into that gear whenever you see that you can help someone or give them advice. I mean, I think that's what we all should do. you know?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And so I would love to hear in these interactions, are there like just kind of some common threads that you're finding that if people could just like flip a switch, and especially, female entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
if they could flip a switch and just have a different thought about this thing, is there anything that you have found in your conversations?
Well, ironically, it's actually quite simple, but like the best advice always is simple. It's just that we kind of can't get out of our own way sometimes.
Yeah.
And more often than not, the expert advice that I'm giving is like common sense, but people don't stop to think about it. One of the pieces of advice I give to a lot of entrepreneurs is, if you like something, right, chances are someone else is gonna like it also.
Mhm.
And if you don't like something, chances are, other people aren't gonna like that either. So in business, generally speaking, when we're creating businesses and we're selling products or services or whatever it may be, and I feel like women are really good with this, probably better than men.
Hmm.
It's like, how would I receive this product or
Yeah.
this service in the way that it's being presented, right? So let's say, you produce sweaters or something, and like you're like, man, I can make this sweater out of this super cheap material, and it's gonna cost me $1 and I could sell it for $20. But that's your business mind. Oh, I'm gonna make it for $1, sell it for 20. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna make $19. It's gonna be awesome. But then you try the sweater on and you're like, oh man, this sweater, it's a little itchy. It's a little tight. And, I washed it and it shrunk and, it kind of just sucks. So when you think of that, you're like, well, is this the type of sweater you'd want to buy or even receive as a gift? Well, the answer to that is no. You don't want a sweater that itches and shrinks and, sucks. So you got to go back to the drawing board and say, look, I want to make a sweater. Forget about the price.
Right.
I want to make a sweater that I want to wear, right?
Yeah.
One that feels good. Ooh, on my skin, cozy, doesn't shrink, feels nice. People forget about the price. I don't know what
Totally.
to pay for this right now that I'm wearing.
Right.
I know it wasn't cheap, but I also know that I love how it feels.
Right.
And if I didn't like how it feels when I put it on, I'd take it right off.
Right.
So business generally is just that. It's creating a product or service that really resonates with the customer. And they say, man, I'm really getting what I paid for. And really, when you do it right, people aren't thinking about the money.
Correct. Thank you for that. And what I'm also hearing you say is that we're creating, and obviously, like we know this, but we're creating the product that resonates with us. And
Mm,
then we're inviting people into the experience
correct.
that we're having. So, one of the things that I do, I lead culinary trips to France for
Oh,
solo
nice.
female travelers. It's
Nice.
amazing. And I was a wedding planner for 30 years. So, I already know how to bring different vendors together to make a magical experience for my client. So, that's what I do. And now these women are my bride, and I love taking care of every detail, and I'm with them, and it's so fun, and I'm good at it, and I love it. And when I first started, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to invite 6 people to join me on this trip. And I did all the math and figured out how much the trip was going to cost for those 6 people. And then that's what I priced it at. But I didn't think about how much the trip actually cost. I just thought
Right.
of like the individual piece. And then, of course, 6 people were going to sign up, obviously,
Right.
because duh, sounds amazing. And 2 people signed up. So I essentially took them on vacation to
Right.
France. So as I've gone, I've learned more and charged more. And that's why I keep doing the same thing over and over because I like to implement my new learning.
Mastery.
Right. Mastery comes from repetition. But what has also occurred is a lot of other people in the space are doing these trips as well. And when I see that a friend, someone I know, is leading one of these trips, the first thing I do is I look at what they're doing and I look at how much they're charging. And then I just thought, what am I doing? It doesn't matter what someone else is charging, it doesn't matter what someone else is including or not including in their trip. I know how I like to travel. I know the hotels I want to stay at. I know the restaurants I want to eat at.
Mm-hmm.
I know the experiences I want to provide for my clients. I know that I don't want 10 women on my trip. I want four. So I am no longer comparing my trips to whatever, what the market can bear or what I'm
Right.
just saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'd love to have you come. It'll change your life, or you can watch my life change because
On
I'm still
Instagram.
going, right? Yes, and I'm obsessed with the woman that I become on the other side of these trips. So I think the what you're saying as well, and what my experience has been, is that when we are all in on what the feeling that we have in the invitation of what we're offering is the feeling that the client will have in pushing the button in that
Right.
that transformation comes in that transaction, and then the trip is just gravy.
Well, and you also you set a new standard for yourself and you operate on a higher frequency. Yeah, you're raising the bar for yourself. Like I deserve this level of vacation, this kind of hotel, this kind of experience, this kind of food. And you deserve that. You deserve to have the best of the best. Whatever it is that you want. All right. So
Yes.
and then when you set that standard for yourself, you receive it. You'll start to get it. If you say, "Hey, I want Roach Coach Motel. I want to fly in coach in the back with the animals and the livestock," you will get that too.
That's
So you
right.
got you got to be careful on what it is that you say you want to settle for.
Right. And it's what we're focusing on too. And I think when we're focused on where we are currently, we talked before I hit record, like this, I'm manifesting all of these beautiful things that I want. They're right here. I can see them. They are on my board. And the money that I need to have the things that I have drawn to me, like I've got addresses, I've got dates on a calendar, I have estimates for work and availability of contractors, and I'm in this perceived gap that I've created for myself based on what is currently. And when we focus on what is, we create more of what is.
Correct.
So, how have you implemented that practice? Because I don't know if any of us are just born. Well, I think we are born believing we can have whatever we want, and then something happens in the middle, and then we become business owners. And
Oh God, you're
right,
saying so many things I want to comment on.
do it, do it.
Okay, so two things. Let's start with the positive one. So where we're at and what we want to create. So meditation, right?
Mhm.
I always butcher this this Bible verses. Kabuk 2:2. Do you know what
Oh,
you
yep, Habakkuk.
okay, I
That's
always
just for my Bible in
yeah.
another room.
So
Yep.
it says write it down and be clear, right? Um
Mm,
so when you are trying to manifest, when you're trying to go after something, no one sits down and to meditate and says, "Man, I want exactly what I have right now. Nothing should change." I don't want a different car. I want this exact, everything. That's usually not how it works. Usually
right.
people are like, "I want a bigger house. I want to go on vacation in France. I want to get in better shape. I want to, whatever." So you're visualizing these wants, right? These things that you want to achieve in your life and you want to experience in your life. And that's really where it starts. It starts with having an image of a compelling future in your mind that
Mhm.
you write down and you work towards that compelling future. So, I mean, it's really just as simple as that. when I did it, like in the story of my book, when I talk about I wanted $25 million, that was my first like, whoa,
Yep.
crazy goal that just seemed insane. It seemed like there was absolutely no way that I would be able to achieve that. Like, not even close. Even writing it felt silly. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? But every morning every morning I'd get that little paper and I'd read it. And again, the guy's going to be handing me the check and I'm going to shake his hand. And I could really just feel like being
Yeah.
there. And what was I doing? I was raising my frequency, just like we talked earlier. Like, this is the new standard that I'm setting for myself. I deserve this money. I'm going to
Mhm.
get this money. And the most important part, like the Bible says, faith without work is dead. I had to put in the work. So it
Right.
wasn't just like, what do I want? It's like, what do I want? And then what am I going to do to get this money? Exactly what I thought I needed to do is, and wasn't the blueprints. It wasn't like, yeah, A,
Totally.
B, and C. That, look, he did these three things and he became a millionaire. But it gave me a direction, right?
Right.
It gave me a true north. Like, okay, the path is this way. And I think I need to do these things to get to that objective. And really just, you know, rehearsing that day and night, literally,
Mm-hmm.
did a lot for me because it opens up your mind and you start to filter out things that don't matter. And then things that were background now become foreground when they, relate to whatever your goals, right? So that's the first part. I think simply doing that practice will take you a good amount of the way. Like, it really will. Like, it does help a lot. When you're really focused on what you want to achieve, you start seeing the opportunities everywhere.
When you say those things out loud,
Yeah.
I want $25 million. I see the guy handing me the check. We're shaking hands. I
Yeah.
might hug him. Who knows? Like, that's so good. You feel it, right? That emotion, that is the first manifestation of your desire, is the
Right.
emotion, right?
Yeah.
So when you start saying it, and at first you're like, yeah, that'll be awesome. Like, whatever that guy is. Yeah. But then you say it, it becomes a habit. Everyone on this podcast listening knows I will buy a chateau in France.
Yeah.
I've
It's
been
gonna happen.
talking about it, like chateaus have found me, and I haven't allowed myself to be ready for them, but it is happening.
It's
It's
gonna
happening,
happen. Yeah.
right? It is happening. And there's something that happens in, like you said, mastery comes from repetition, and we are creating a new set point for ourselves that at first we balk a little bit when we hear ourselves say it, but then we are in that vibration with consistency. And then when somebody else says something that is the opposite, like, what are you talking about? You can't
Yeah, that's
afford a
not me.
chateau in France. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what? Where have you been? I'm by chateau in France. Like, I obviously like not having this conversation with you. So
Yeah.
that's it. Like,
Cancel.
something happens, right? Like, a belief is just a thought we keep thinking. So we are creating new neural pathways in this practice.
Yeah, and what you just said is really, it's really important. I remember when I was on that particular journey, the one I write about in the book, I was so focused
Yeah.
and so, like, I believed it so much that when I was met with any form of resistance, and that would be, in the form of a naysayer, whether that
Right.
was a family friend or a brother or a whoever, I would literally like, whoa,
Yeah.
like, I will not discuss this with you anymore. You are not my friend. Like,
Right.
goodbye, you know, because I didn't have any room for any disempowering belief, talk,
Right.
energy, nothing. Like, I was like, I just, when I tell you I had a zero tolerance,
Mhm.
and I'd give people like a warning, like I'd say, listen, for example, let's say you told me, you're never going to accomplish it, Max. Okay, well, I'll say, listen, Wendy, listen, I love you. You're my friend. I'm going to tell you this one time. I'm only going to say it once.
Mhm.
I need you to empower me. I need you to cheer for me, root me on, and tell me the ways. And even if you don't know the way, you just say that, yes, you can do it, Max. But if you say anything negative to me about this, I will never talk to you about it again.
Right.
And maybe I'll just stop talking to you altogether because I don't want anybody dragging me down. I got enough problems. I need
Yep.
people who are going to support me. So I really did that. And when I tell you,
Me too.
I stopped talking like
Hmm.
I talk to them again now, but when I was in that tunnel,
Hmm.
I didn't, my best friends, family, goodbye, 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 goodbye. I was like,
Right.
achieve the goal, achieve the goal. No one can slow me down. No one can weigh me down. I don't have time for any
Right.
parachutes.
Right. I got a divorce.
Yeah.
Like I am unavailable for like this is like champagne flutes, rainbows, and unicorns.
Yeah.
Like that is it.
Yeah.
We're only doing, and the pandemic helped
Right.
because that's when I mean, all the cooperative components were coming together, and that's when I started building my tunnel that I didn't
Right.
even know. But it really, all of that supported my
Hmm.
decisions. And then by the time the world opened up, I was a completely different person and
Right.
absolutely unavailable
Right.
for any conversations
Yeah.
besides ones like this.
Yeah.
And these are, in fact, the only conversations that I'm having.
Good. I'm very proud of you. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's awesome. And listen, rule number one, we got to love ourselves.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that's not always easy. Sometimes you catch yourself talk, you say things like, I mean, I don't know, some,
Right.
I'm
It
sure.
hurts
And you
even
gotta,
trying to say it because
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like,
oh,
and then you're
I
like,
don't
oh
like
man,
that.
why did I say that? Why am I doing that? Like, hold on, let me not say that about myself. So then if it's hard enough for me to make sure that I'm always loving myself and giving to myself at the level that I feel that I should receive, I don't need you telling me that I suck.
Totally.
Come
Right.
on, like, come on, give me a break. I need you to help me
Yes.
accomplish this, self
Right.
love and self worth.
It's true. I have a quick question because even when I was saying, and I'm just going to say it again as the last time I'm ever saying this gap between what I want and the money to pay for it.
Mhm.
Even just saying that, it feels like so what am I talking? I know
Right,
too much about God and too much about the laws of the universe to even think that that's a thing. And
right,
so sometimes the beauty of conversation, of saying, like, get that stuff out of your body. And
yeah,
then also, once it comes out of your mouth, you're like, oh, yeah, never mind. I don't actually
yeah,
believe that there is a
yeah.
gap. Like,
Right,
it's my growth edge. And
yeah,
I'm super excited to see how this plays out. But you're right. Like, there is no tolerance for anything that is not in alignment
yep,
with where we're going. And, when I asked you, like, what's the one thing that you're hearing? And then you mentioned something, like, oh, here are the 3 steps to become a millionaire. It's simple, but there is not, like, I can't give you my 3 steps
right,
and have you implement them and have them work. The thing is, I just saw in your Instagram stories the other day about, like, what is that one thing that you're here to do or that you
yeah,
want to accomplish?
right,
And for me, I'm so happy that it came quickly. Also, when I thought about that, it's unconditional alignment.
right,
That is the thing that I'm here to accomplish because that will help me accomplish all of the, buy the chateau in France and start the
right,
school and empower all these women. Like all of those things come, but it requires action, like you said, but it's inspired action. And
yeah,
it's that dropping in and asking for guidance. What
yeah.
is my role in this today? What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say and to whom?
So let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
because this is one of my superpowers, which I wasn't born with. I learned
Okay. Perfect.
is asking myself questions,
Yeah.
which is that Instagram story I
Yeah.
reference it there. So, for example, when we're talking about like the buying the chateau, many things might come to mind, but one that would help would be a question like, well, how could I buy my chateau in France? What are the different ways that I might be able to achieve this goal? And what I'm referring to is thinking time,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, here I'm at my desk here. This is, let me see. So what you're looking at here, just to give you an example, this is this month. This is probably a college rule notepad worth of journaling that I've
Brilliant.
done just this month.
Yeah.
Questions and answers on
Yeah.
different things. And basically what it is brainstorming, right? It's
Yeah.
journaling, but brainstorming. But asking yourself questions that will get you to, a potential path. And like, how could I get, well, how could I get a shot to my friends? Well, let me think about it. Maybe I can partner with someone. Maybe if I get 100 people to pay me this amount of money, I could buy one. Or there's just so many ways you can accomplish it. There's a lot of ways. And I think when you start to ask yourself empowering questions and questions that will lead you somewhere, it just becomes so much closer. And then when you ask yourself a good question, you get a good answer. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have a good answer, you have something that's actionable, right?
Right.
So if you had
Yes.
an idea, and I'm just, whiteboarding with you, if your idea was, how can I get a chateau? If it's me, first of all, I'm going to say like where I want it. Like,
Oh, I already know. I have the address.
okay, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's 950,000 euros.
950?
Mm-hmm. I know,
There's
right? What's the
so many
problem?
ways,
I
so many
know.
ways to get that, right? So many ways to get that. I mean, a mortgage on 950 is probably like 5 or 6 thousand. You could, if you just had, let's say, 6 to 10 people visit you a month, probably six, they would pay for the mortgage.
Right.
If they all paid $1,000, they pay the mortgage. You could live there full time for free. So you just need six people to come a month. Like something
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just one. Like we could
Right.
probably come up with 10 different ways you could do that. And the next
Right.
thing you know, it's like, well, I can't just afford the chateau now. Now the chateau makes me 25,000 a month.
Right.
And it flips from can I get this to wow, not only do I have this, but it's way easier than I thought. And it's this
Mm-hmm.
crazy benefit in my life.
Yeah.
And again, going back to it, a big part of it is okay, let's think
Mm-hmm.
about how I can achieve this. What are the different ways?
I love what you said because you say that your notebook is called Thinking Time. So
Mm-hmm,
you are marrying your mind and your heart. So
mm-hmm,
that's journaling, is moving stuff from our head to our heart through our
right.
hands. And the beauty of writing that down is it slows down the information a bit. We're writing as fast as we can, but we can't write as fast as we think.
Mm-hmm,
And something happens if any of those stray negative thoughts get in there, they can throw us off the course if
right.
we are only thinking. But if we're writing, we're not going to write that. We're going to be
Yeah,
like,
only the
yeah,
positive.
but I'm answering my own naysayer as I'm writing. And then you also have just the energy that's moving through your body as you're writing. And then you have the documentation. You don't have to think, like, what was that great idea I had? That felt so
Exactly.
good. Where was that?
Exactly.
And we also know that everything we need is inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we need
You have the
other
answer.
people because they inspire us and help us, you know, pull it out of us. Otherwise, we're just too busy, but we have everything that we need.
You know that I say that in almost every coaching session I do. When I start a coaching session, usually someone's like, well, how does it work? And,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, well, the thing is that you have the answers. I'm just going to help you pull it out and make it a little more clear. But you have the answers. I have the answers for my problems and my
Mhm.
challenges. I have the answers. And I'm like, okay, how do I get them out here? Like, how do I
Exactly.
figure it out?
Same. This is mine.
And yeah, it's great. And it's great because like you're saying, you only write down the positive and then you have something actionable to say, okay, this was a great insight. This was very valuable. Let me research this a little bit. Let me do some discovery and see what I can figure out if this leads somewhere, you know? So I think that's a really important part, maybe the most important part of, success. What exactly do you want? How are some of the ways you can get what you want?
Yeah.
You know?
You mentioned meditation, and I also have a morning practice, but I would love to hear, like, what is your process? Because we know also the vibration of a question and the
Mm-hmm.
vibration of the answer are different. So
Mm.
sometimes we do need to take a break and go for a walk or look at
Yeah.
something pretty or bake some cookies or do whatever
Yeah.
we need to do that brings us back into alignment. So what is your practice?
Well, believe it or not, it's quite simple and it's not a lot of time for me. So there's two things. So for me, as I've gotten older, it's become a little more challenging because I have so many things going on. So now
Right.
instead of like one goal, I have like seven for different
Yes.
companies and different areas of my life. But it's really less about the amount of time and
Correct.
more about getting there with the emotion. When I
That's right.
connect with that emotion,
Mhm.
I did what I needed to do.
That's right.
It's just about me getting, boom, okay,
Right.
I'm at that frequency.
Yep.
I did it.
Right.
So for example, now by my bed, I have six monster goals, which we're gonna do. I might be
Awesome.
taking my jet to visit you in France.
Please do. There's a regional airport very close by.
Well, I will need the address and the information
Oh,
on that, please.
perfect.
So I have my goals, and I mean, maybe it's like last night, I fell asleep reading them, which is even better.
Yes.
Yeah, because you just kind of like drift to it, you know? This morning, maybe I spent 2 minutes, maybe two
Okay.
minutes,
Yeah.
but just I read the line, closed my eyes, tried to picture myself there, getting it, receiving it, doing it. Boom. Once I get it, I go to the next one.
Right.
But I have to
Right.
get there.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
have to get there, and then I'll go to the next one. But the repetition of it, hey, I'm not gonna leave this room until
Mhm.
I get this, get this feeling, connect with it. That's what I do.
Oh my
Sometimes it might be
gosh.
15 minutes.
Mhm.
Sometimes it might be 1 minute, but I need to feel that,
Right.
that smile on your face. I tell people all the time, have you ever have you ever smiled and been upset? Give it a shot. Try to be mad when you're smiling, like,
That's
oh, I'm
right.
so fucking it just doesn't
Yeah.
work,
You can't be curious and furious at the same time.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's my process right now. It's pretty simple.
I love
I
it.
think saying your statement out loud, whatever your chosen statement, if you could read it out loud, would just be that much more beneficial. God spoke the world into existence.
Mhm.
Words have power. So it's just it'll take you to the next level. One thing is just meditating on it and praying about it and reading it. Another thing is speaking it. uh, you know, um, so I would suggest if that's something that you can do, if you sleep next to your husband, boyfriend, whoever, and you're embarrassed, okay, go to the closet, close the door,
Or
and
start a podcast.
go. Yeah, there you
You
go.
can just say it over and over and over again.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my process right now.
I
Yeah,
love that. And I love your reminder that it's the emotion that
yeah,
we're going for. And
correct,
that's, we talked before I hit record about the radio station. And once you get to the station, you don't hear people talking about maybe thinking about starting a band or taking guitar lessons. The
right on.
song is already
Yep,
halfway done.
correct,
So when you get into that emotional, so everything we want is because we think we'll feel better in the
right.
having of it,
Mhm.
right? So getting to that emotional place for me, again, Chateau in France, that's freedom, that's choice, that's invitation, that's contribution, that's I effing did what I said I was going to
That's
do.
right,
Damn
baby.
it. Look at me and come with me. And what do you want? Like,
Yeah,
let's do that. Like,
yeah,
that enthusiasm. Like, I'm there. I'm
yeah.
there. And so it is.
Well, look, you just said something really important, which you heard me touch on at Book Thinkers.
Yeah.
And it's really, 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 really important. And for your listeners as well, it's huge. It's the goal is paramount, right? It's present. That's what we're after. But enjoying the journey, finding the beauty in the struggle, in the journey, and who you're becoming along the way,
Mm,
celebrating the wins.
yeah.
If it's 1,000-foot journey, hey, only took one step today. Only took one step. Hey, we took a step today.
That's right. We
We took
did.
a step. Many people weren't taking any steps. Some people
Right.
are going backwards. We took a
Right.
step. What are we gonna do? Let's celebrate this step that we just took. Because now it's 9.99.
That's right.
And the
Yeah.
next thing you know, you'll be halfway there. Then just very close, and then you do it, boom, and then you have your,
Yes.
your ultimate celebration. But enjoying it
Right.
is so powerful and so helpful, and it will just make your life so much better if you just take the time to appreciate where you are, who you're becoming, and ultimately what you're going to have and achieve.
And it's a part of that creation process. Like you said, you've got 7 companies or whatever you said, all
Yeah,
goals for all the companies. There's not one path to one destination and that's it. The mantra of the universe is more. So
yeah,
we're created in the image of God, who is the creator. Like we are thinking new things and having new ideas for other great things. So yes, close the loop, but also know that in the enjoyment of the journey is the idea for the other thing and the next
yeah.
thing, and how they all come together is because you you're the
Right,
common denominator in all of the fabulous things that you're up to. And sometimes when we get there, if we're thinking that it's the destination that's going to give us the feeling, then it's kind of like, wah wah. Now
right,
what? Now I have to
right,
start something all over? No, we're halfway to this other thing when we finish this one, and
right,
it's all just building on top of each other. And for me, the momentum and the permission I grant myself to trust myself and to say yes to the things that light me up, and to be to also trust myself when it's time to complete.
right. Beautiful. I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question that I ask all of my guests, usually in the beginning, but I wasn't sure how this was going to go. So, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Ooh, so many ways,
Awesome.
so many ways that I'm doing it. I'm really not taking no, or that's too expensive, or I shouldn't spend money on that, or that's not like let's say like a wise financial decision, because my mind is very financial, business,
Right.
money, man.
Yep.
And I could have $10 billion, and this I'm talking about my past self. If I think something's too expensive, I wouldn't buy it because it's expensive. And
Mhm.
it's like, well, the guy's got $10 billion. Why the hell is he complaining about a pack of gum being too expensive? So this is something that I've been evolving with over time, and I'm getting better and better at it.
I switched out the word expensive with expansive.
There you go. I like that. So I've been evolving with this over time, and I've gotten to a pretty good place. I still have more to go, but I'm doing it.
Right.
Um, so I'm really just giving myself whatever it is that I want.
I love that for you.
Yeah, anything that I want, and it's less about the price tag, and it's more about, do I want it? And when I tell you, Wendy, I've spent so much money on all kinds of stuff this year. But you want to know something? I didn't spend it. I invested it.
That's right.
And money is an energy.
Yeah.
And as I was saying before, when I invest into enhancing my experience, it's less about the things that I'm buying, and it's more about creating that flow. I
Yes.
deserve to get whatever it is that I want.
Right.
I'm a good man. I help a lot of people. I do a lot of things. I earn a lot of money. I work very hard. Why should I not have every single thing that I want?
Right.
Anything that crosses my mind. If I want it, boom, buy it. Something that I didn't always do. I started from very humble beginnings.
Right.
So sometimes when I'm spending the amount of money I spend or invest, I'm like, man, that's wild. But I've really done a good job of disassociating
Mm.
price and cost with I want it.
Ooh, I
And
love that.
it's a
Yeah.
game changer. Like, I would suggest maybe this is something you do with your Chateau
Yeah.
as well. Like Chateau as well, because it's like, who cares what it costs? Like, the prices, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Do I want it?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I should have
Right. There
it.
are
Okay.
lots of things that are more expensive that I don't want, or that are cheaper that I don't want.
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
even in my
Doesn't matter.
experience.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Don't look at the price tag. Do you want it? Yes or no? I want to get it.
Yeah.
If I don't, get
Yeah.
rid of it. I
Yes.
was with my attorney day before yesterday, and I have a lot of expensive cars, a lot.
Awesome.
And I love cars. I just like buying cars. So I just bought another car, a Rolls
Tell me
Royce,
about it, please. Oh, fun.
Rolls Royce Cullinan.
Oh my
I buy
gosh,
all my
that's
cars. I
great.
pay them all cash. Everything is paid cash. So I buy this car. This car's $500,000.
How
And
cool.
he's like, this is wild. Like this car is wild, man. Like you, how much was it? I was like, oh, 500 grand. I said, that's crazy. So what car are you selling out of your collection? I said, I'm not selling anything.
Right. I'm building a bigger garage. What are
Yeah, I
you
said, I'm not
talking
selling
about?
anything. I said, I don't want to sell any. When I think about it, I'm like, I don't want to sell anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sell anything until the day I wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to sell something.
I'm ready to complete.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just flowing with it. If I
Yeah.
want it, I'm going to do it. And if I don't want it, I won't do it. I mean, that's it. So, and that's really served me very well because, again, it takes me from here
Hmm.
to here.
That's right.
And the same mind that helps me achieve business goals and, you try to be wise, with your finances, that's great here. But I don't want to bring it over here
Mm.
to what do I want? What do I deserve? Here, there should be no limits. I get whatever I want, you know? So having those two like separate, it's been interesting, but I'm telling you, I've gotten really good at it. Like buying all these cars.
Mastery
But
comes from repetition.
but I will tell you, when you do this, it doesn't have to be with cars, it could be with anything. You really are doing yourself a service
Mhm.
because you're training yourself, you're loving yourself, you're teaching yourself.
Mhm.
I get what I want.
Right.
I deserve the best, right? And if you don't do it for yourself, no one's gonna do it for you. You
That is
should be
correct.
you should give yourself the biggest gifts you ever get in your life. You should give them to yourself. You should be giving yourself the biggest gifts. It shouldn't come from a husband or a boyfriend or a grandmother or mom. The biggest gift you ever come, it should come from you. Because you should love yourself more than anyone.
I agree. I love that so much. I tell my daughter is 11, and when she was younger, she'd be like, okay, mom, so you're saying that you love you more than you love me? And I said, yeah.
Have to.
And I love you a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. You must love you a lot. Like,
Hmm.
yes, I do.
You have to.
I
Who's
have
gonna
to.
love you more than you? No, nobody. So I told this to one of my friends that has kids, because we had a similar conversation about how much they love their kids and all that stuff. And I said, listen, if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be here for your kids. So think about that for a second. You want to pour out and pour out and pour out, but who's pouring into you? If you're just going to be an empty
Mhm.
vessel and you die, guess what? Your kids will not have you. So
Right.
unless you love yourself and treat yourself with more respect and treat yourself, with more regard, have more regard for yourself, you won't exist and it won't matter.
Right.
So you have to love yourself.
You're modeling a non-sustainable
Yeah.
lifestyle. Like, I
Yeah.
want her to know that she also loves herself more than she loves me and
Right.
more than anyone else.
Right.
When she was young, and the first time that I left for France after my ex-husband and I separated, and she was like, I just don't understand why you have to go. And I said, oh, I don't have to go. I want to go.
Yeah. So,
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah. And then I want to come back and
right.
I want to see you when I get back.
Right. You're choosing that. Right.
Right. It's so good. And I think this is obvious to you and I and at our practice. And I'm hoping for our listeners as well. But I just want to comment on the things that you're buying are not because you think that the emotion is associated with the having of that thing. It's like you get into that emotion and then that thing enhances it. But
Here's the thing.
you're not trying to fill a void with
No.
cars.
Here's the thing. I don't care about cars at the end of the day. They could throw them all away in the garbage can right now. I don't care. I'll drive anything. I'll drive an old beat up pickup truck. That's where I started.
Yeah,
And guess what? I was really happy driving that old beat up pickup truck. It's not about the stuff. It's
exactly.
about overcoming the hurdle that your mind will create,
Yeah.
that barrier. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a chateau in France. It
Mhm.
costs this much money. I'm here. It's there. I can't get there. It's like, no, yeah, we can get there.
Yeah.
We can get there. Of course we can get there. And once you jump over that hurdle, you see that in the rearview mirror, like, that was easy. What's next? What am I doing next?
Exactly. Yes.
Right? It's
Yes.
it's it's just about the mentality. I don't care about the cars.
Right.
I enjoy cars, they're fun. But at the end of the day, I'll ride a bicycle. I don't care. It's not about these material things. Again, it's who I'm becoming, how I'm
Mhm.
manifesting, how I'm pushing obstacles out of the way and going after what I want. It's about that.
Yeah.
The physical manifestations, whatever. That doesn't matter. It's, hey, here's a challenge and I'm gonna overcome it. I'm gonna defeat this, whether it's financial or otherwise,
Yeah.
so it's about that. And again, I tell people all the time, like, my friend, he told me something about, oh, that car's, when I first got it, he's like, that car's amazing, blah blah blah. And I said, I don't give a shit about this car.
Yeah.
It's just a car, dude. It'll take me to the grocery store the same way any other car will take me. It is a car. It's not about that. It's more about the mental. If I want
Right.
it, I'm going to have it. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's the best part.
That's amazing. I love it. And I
Yeah.
love that you are doing that. And thank you for sharing it
Like,
because I think that is, well, it's your superpower. And I don't think that it comes as, well, I'll speak for myself. It doesn't come as easily for me. Like I believe that. I believe that if these dreams are in me, these dreams are for me.
right.
And
Yeah.
I'm practicing like how I am continually the deliberate creator of my experience when it comes to things that I don't already own or
Right.
have a monetary,
Yeah.
like that's my growth edge.
Right.
And I'm here for it.
So think about this for a
Please.
second. That thing that you want,
Mhm.
whether it's you or anyone else, that one thing that you want, that you feel like, man, I gotta reach and get this thing. That is a gift for you to use to be able to hone
Yeah.
and help develop yourself. That's just the
Yes.
chosen thing. The chateau doesn't define you. It's not gonna,
Right.
it's not gonna make you 10 times happier. It's just that object that God gave you and said, hey, I want you to go after this. You know what's gonna be cool? Coolest part that I'm gonna tell you later, you're gonna experience for yourself who you're gonna become once you get it.
100%.
Okay? It's just a thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
just a thing. But I want you to go after this thing. And let's see what happens to Wendy when she finally gets to that mountain to the top and gets what. Let's see how you feel, how you become, right, as a person. That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I receive all of that. Thank you. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you for being so generous in sharing your story in the book. It's so good. I love it. I kind of know how it ends because it's on the cover, but I'm loving the journey. And I was so excited about this conversation because as I was reading the book, even in the early on in the book when you discover that the patio heaters are like as soon as I was reading it and before you say it all, I was like, oh my gosh, they just have propane. Like I was so excited that that was coming. I was like, oh, this is
Awesome.
awesome.
That's great.
So I love like, even those things that, we can think of as we look back on our trajectory. Mine has been, relatively short just since January of 2020 is when I really had a shift in my consciousness and everything changed as a result of that and continues to change as a result of that. So I can look back at that and it feels close enough that I can remember how I felt, but there is something in the telling of the story for the people that
Yeah.
are at the beginning
Mm.
of their conscious becoming of who
Yeah.
they want to be, that they can see that there was a staircase that got you to the level that you're at and the level that I'm at, and we are both very generous in sharing the steps of the staircase. I mean, that's what I talk about. I talked about going through my divorce, and that was very long. I didn't know I'd be talking about it for 3.5 years, but that's just how long it took. And in this desire for the chateau, like I want to bring people on the journey,
Mm.
and then they can see the manifestation, and it reminds them that they can also have anything that they desire.
You never know who you're helping and who you're inspiring with your
Right.
testimony. That's what it boils down to.
Yes.
I published my book. It's been over 2 years now. And like I
Okay.
mentioned, that book thinkers, I was like, I didn't even know why I was writing it in the beginning. I was like, why am I writing this book? I don't get this. What am I doing? And, I went through the journey. I wrote it. I published it. Every day, someone's reading it, you
Yep.
know? And every day it's helping someone. And it's something that I did in the past that is paying dividends, not necessarily financial, but dividends in the sense that it's helping people in the world, inspire them, educate them, teach them how to think, show them how faith works. It's just a great thing to do, like to have out in the world.
It's so beautiful. And I really love, like I said, sharing that journey, because then people can tap
Yeah.
into their version of your story wherever they
Right.
are.
Right.
If they're, just
Yeah.
wanting to become an entrepreneur, then they're right there in chapter one. If they've sold a business or had some mishaps or unfortunate circumstances like you experienced, they can put their boat in the stream there as well.
Right.
But
Right.
I also just love how generous you are with the story itself and with the lessons learned and in the continuation of being available for people. I mean, I know what you said at the Book Thinkers event is that you are coaching people and you're not charging them, and whatever, you change your mind on that whenever you desire. But I just love that. I mean, I took notes on what everybody said because it was a great event, and
Right.
I took more notes for some people than for others. There were
Right.
some that I just didn't resonate with. And the notes on your section, I wrote first, celebrate the little wins along the way. That was when I started writing. And then I just wrote, I love this man's beautiful energy. And then I just put my pencil down and I just listened. And it was so, you said more just being you without the theatrics that some other people implement in how
Mhm.
they are them. Like that was
Right.
totally authentic in some of the other presentations. And that's awesome. But
Thank
it's just beautiful that your alignment is obvious. That's what I'm trying to say.
you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, because I really appreciate you showing me what's possible, what's available, not even from a business sense, but like not to be weird or anything, but I've never experienced a man in that beautiful aligned energy. And it's inspiring to know that that exists. And I appreciate having time with you and basking in that because it elevates my energy.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you and your energy and spending time with you and getting to know you. So thank you so much. It's been honestly very wonderful conversing with you and getting to know you and hearing your story and your dreams and the things that I know that you're going to accomplish.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, I'll meet you at the airport.
yeah, it's going to be so awesome. Maybe we'll fly together.
Oh, we should. That would be brilliant.
Where are you located?
I'm in Boston.
Boston.
Yep.
So I wanted to tell you this quick little thing. I know we're
Yeah.
running out of time.
Oh, I have nothing but time.
Okay. So there's a story, and I'll probably mess it up, but I love this story and I really should research it. So, somewhere along the way, what happens to us as kids that we start feeling that we can't because, we don't know. Then you become an adult and you have all these negative things that you think about and disempowering thoughts, right? What happens is that other people get it.
Yeah.
If you were born on an island by yourself, there's probably not much that you wouldn't think you could do because no one would influence you negatively.
Mm-hmm.
But in the world that we live in, everyone has an opinion. You know, everyone has an opinion, and sometimes they're wonderful opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're empowering and great, and sometimes they're negative and they're disempowering and they can hurt you. And it all boils down to which voice you believe. Do you believe this one? Or you believe this one?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Who are you going to listen to? The person who says you can do it, the person who says you can't do it. And there was a little story that they told me once, and I loved it. And it was, there was an old man. There was a frozen lake, and a dog was like drowning in the frozen lake, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy goes out into the lake, and he punches through a foot of solid, ice
Wow.
to save his dog, right? And punches through, grabs the dog, pulls him out, and walks back to shore. This old man, whatever. And the firefighters showed up, and they're like, one firefighter looks at the other firefighter and says, "How did he do that? That's impossible. Like, this old man is like 80 years old. How did he punch through a solid block of ice to save this dog?" And the other firefighter says, "Well, because no one was here to told him he couldn't."
That's right. Gives me chills.
I love it.
So good.
I love it. I was like, shit, and that's freaking
Right?
awesome.
Yes.
Because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You can either have someone saying, do it, kill it, crush it, go after it. It's going to happen. Or that'll never happen. And if you listen to this one, guess what?
They'll be right.
It ain't happening.
That's right. You'll be right either
That's
way.
right. Henry Ford said it. Whether you believe you can do it or you can't do it, you're right.
Exactly. Oh my
Well,
God.
listen, it's been a
So
pleasure.
good. Thank you so much, Max. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can get their hands on the book, all the good things.
So pretty active on Instagram. That's like probably the preferred platform. The book you can get on Amazon, whoismaxlewis.com. The children's book also, Maxie and the Magic Mango. It's also in Spanish. If
So
anybody
good.
wants to find in Spanish, it's how do you say it in Spanish? It's Maxi y el Mango Mágico in Spanish.
Perfect.
And Barnes and Nobles, there's a bunch of places, Audible, things like that. I also put it up for free on YouTube, so you can listen to it with Audible version.
Amazing. Did you record the Audible?
No, I hired an actor for that. Remember, I use a pseudonym, and I also changed all the names of the characters and the businesses in the book to protect myself and to protect the privacy of others.
Sure.
So when I did that, I wanted to make sure it wasn't my voice, because I was like, oh,
Right.
I was never planning to do an interview. I was never planning to have a social media, and that kind of just evolved over time.
So when you were writing the book, did you know you were going to write it with a pen name?
No, I had an idea. I had an idea that I would do that, and then like maybe halfway through the book, I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm gonna do it because it's just too personal. The story is 100% true and accurate. I even have a fact book that I made. Like, I have a fact book here in my office of everything, like all the artifacts, everything. Like, everything I talk about in that book is true and
documented.
Accurate. Yeah. So I just said, you know what, to protect people and not to like ruffle any more feathers, let me make it about the story, and so that people can learn about the story and not make it about myself.
Right.
And I think I've accomplished that. It's helping people and without having to get everybody's names involved.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I'm so grateful that you wrote it. I'm so grateful for your generosity and appreciative of you and your time. Thank you so, so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Nice talking with you.
You too. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.